The Birds' march to Super Bowl 59 has already begun. The good news is already flowing in on the injury front for key weapons all around the offense. Although some new confusion around Brandon Graham's return has resulted in a lot more questions than answers. Plus, with the latest update on Kellen Moore and the Saints is the worst news Eagle fans could have received to start the week. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. You know the Birds Super Bowl prep has officially begun once you see which jerseys they're going to wear. Midnight Green, by the way, actually get their Super Bowl 59 patches. While it's crazy to think we've seen this almost 3 times in the past 8 years, the players and coaches themselves are focused on the task at hand as they remain in Philadelphia this week, where they will practice and install their game plan to get ready for the Super Bowl 57 rematch versus Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now, as of today, we don't know the official schedule for Philadelphia in terms of getting down to New Orleans, but the expectation is Philadelphia will hold multiple meetings and practices in and around the NovaCare complex the rest of this week before flying down this weekend to New Orleans to begin the always crazy week of Super Bowl festivities, which officially begin on Monday night, February 3rd, where both teams will meet for their annual media scrum, followed by Super Bowl 59 11 days from now. And of course, we're celebrating getting to the Super Bowl by doing some pretty sweet giveaways this week, including the signed Devontae Smith football officially given away tonight during our 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time live stream. If you haven't entered this giveaway, all details will be down below. You got to go ahead and comment on Monday's video, which will also get you entered in for the NFC Championship game towel, although I have an extra one of these. Let's just do this. If this video today gets 70,000 views, I'll give one person who subscribes, likes the video, and drops a comment below my extra Super Bowl towel. Now, I think the most pressing news to begin the week has to be the injury updates for Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, both of whom played center at least at different points during the NFC title game destruction of the Washington Commanders on Sunday, but both also seemed pretty banged up afterwards. And naturally, when asked yesterday, head coach Nick Sirianni gave a pretty vague reply on both offensive linemen status.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know that these guys, how tough these guys are and, do everything they can and how hard they work. And all these guys are playing through, bumps and bruises right now. And I just see their relentless work and their relentless effort to get themselves in as best shape as they possibly can with their bodies to be ready to go.
Thankfully, though, the Inquirer's Jeff McClain did tweet late last night that he expects Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens to both play in the Super Bowl. It will be a massive boost for Philadelphia's offensive line and their ability to keep the running game humming versus a talented Chiefs front seven. Which, by the way, the media narratives, at least around this game and the Birds' rushing attack, is already getting pretty ridiculous. As both Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd have already said some wild things, including Saquon Barkley will not be able to run against the Chiefs, and the Eagles might not get into the red zone once versus Kansas City. Talking media head propaganda aside, the unspoken injury news around Philadelphia remains, I think, about Jalen Hurts' knee, which, if you remember, just last week was a massive talking point heading into the NFC title game. Hurts, of course, did not seem hampered in the slightest, scoring 4 touchdowns, posting the highest grade of any player in the entire conference championship round. Also, with the Eagles officially in the Super Bowl just a few days from now, which is still really crazy to say, my channel sponsor SeatGeek wants to hook everybody watching this show up right now with the best ticket promo possible, $250 off your Super Bowl tickets with promo code MOTT250. And yes, I do mean everybody watching this show right now, and as you know, Super Bowl tickets, they can get a little bit expensive, and so use my promo code with SeatGeek to make your wallet just a little bit happier. I've used SeatGeek for all the Eagles games I've been to so far this year, including last week's NFC Championship game, which I was at, and SeatGeek's rating scale made it so darn easy to find the best possible deals. They rate every ticket on a scale from 1 to 10, and if you want Super Bowl tickets, the green dots will tell you it's the best possible deal you can find. Yellow and red, not so much. I look for the green every single time. So if you want to be an Eagles fan in person, watching them hopefully win the Super Bowl, do it with their friends at SeatGeek. Just download their app, add the promo code MOTT250 to your profile, get your tickets, save a bunch of money. Do this quickly, though, because those Super Bowl tickets are going lightning fast. Still, we do know that both Jalen Hurts and even guys like A.J. Brown were having some sort of knee issues entering Sunday's game. The fact they get 2 weeks off before the Super Bowl is fantastic news for Philadelphia all around. I expect the offensive line and the weapons and the quarterback to be 100% for Sunday's game. Oh, and as for Brandon Graham, the Philadelphia Inquirer's report that BG would be activated off of IR this past Monday turned out not to be true, as BG remains on IR as of filming this here on Wednesday morning, and did go on WIP last night and confirmed that there is no update other than he's been working hard to return, but is still waiting on confirmation from team doctors to see if it's even possible.
Let me tell you this, man. We working one game at a time, one day at a time.
There's right only now, one game. They only got one game left.
I know, at one game. It's one game at a time. Well, right now it's one day at a time. I feel good. I really feel good. I mean, that is one thing. This has been the easiest, I would say, injury out of the injuries that I've had, and I'm just saying that because it's not upper body stuff is a little easier than, taking a shower, all the little things that you take for granted until you out and you on crutches and stuff like that. This time around, it's just more about making sure I build the muscle, make sure I'm getting stronger, and doing the right things where I'm not hurting it, to where I can re-hurt it. So I know for me, man, we gonna see what the docs say, see what's going on, and then we'll go from there.
Personally, I do think BG is going to play in the Super Bowl. Probably going to take a lot longer to go ahead and activate him, maybe early next week. But just to let you guys know, Monday's show that I did was all about the Inquirer's report saying he would be activated Monday, and that turned out to not be true. Now, what is true is the fact the Birds' offense clearly had some brand new wrinkles versus the Commanders that played a massive role in the 55-point offensive explosion at the Link last week, which now has created this whole idea that the Birds have simply been hiding some of their quote-unquote better plays for bigger games, simply because they knew they could win a lot of the other games without revealing their secrets. Now, as you know, I'm not a big Eagles conspiracy theory guy, but it is interesting that the offense looks very different on Sunday versus the Commanders than it did even a week or 2 weeks prior versus the Packers and Rams. And if you want to believe this whole narrative that Philadelphia is hiding their best stuff for the biggest games, well, Nick Sirianni's press conference yesterday might have given you a little more fuel for the fire.
Yeah, obviously you go through everything, and I won't get into details there, Jeff, of what we're changing. We have a plan. We're still sorting through some other things of it, and so, still, a big chunk of it is ready to go, and so I won't share everything with you guys, but we'll practice. We'll be on the field. We'll be installing things to give you a percentage or a time. Still some of that stuff's up in the air, but you got to get a good portion of it done because of the schedule. Like I was saying to, I believe, Bob, the schedule's a little different next week.
KC's defense is definitely elite, but it's not invincible, and I'm super confident in Kellen Moore's game planning, at least for the next 2 weeks, in order to make sure the offense is as fresh and dynamic as possible. Now, speaking of Kellen Moore, the news around him, it does not seem that promising, as the New Orleans Saints completed their second interview with the Birds' offensive coordinator on Monday, and apparently it went, quote, late into the night. Pair that with Adam Schefter's latest ESPN article this morning confirming that Mike McCarthy is out of the Saints running, and that leaves Kellen Moore as the, quote, lead candidate to fill the New Orleans vacancy. Something I sort of expected, but definitely was hoping would not be true. Even 2 years later, there's no way to really know if the Arizona Cardinals interviewing Jonathan Gannon behind the scenes played a role in the Birds' defensive disaster late in that Super Bowl, but clearly a scenario Philadelphia does not want to repeat. Now, just for clarity, Kellen Moore cannot officially be hired until after the Super Bowl, per NFL rules, but that does not mean a handshake and a promise have not already happened behind the scenes. In all likelihood, at this point, Philadelphia is set to lose their offensive coordinator, leave Jalen Hurts searching for his 10th different OC since arriving at Alabama in 2016. And as we all know, Hurts has had a different offensive coordinator every single year of his professional and college careers, except for the 2 years under Shane Steichen, which of course in year 2, Steichen's offense, led by Jalen Hurts, was probably the best we've ever seen, which naturally leaves a lot of Eagle fans pretty upset that Kellen Moore is about to leave, thinking the Birds' offense will go right back to square one. And that might be true, but let's just be real for 1 second here. Kellen Moore taking this job, it's probably the right decision and something he absolutely has to do for his personal career. I mean, think about this. There's no guarantee Moore would remain a hot candidate after next season. Anything can happen in the National Football League, and coaching openings are not only a rarity, and you won't get a lot of fresh looks if you continue to turn down some of the best openings. Plus, of course, there's the guaranteed money factor, something that no one ever talks about, but head coaching money versus offensive coordinator money, double, triple, quadruple what Kellen Moore is making right now. And naturally, I've seen a lot of responses saying, why would Kellen Moore want the Saints job? They have quarterback issues, cap issues, draft pick problems, even GM concerns. But my simple response is no head coach entering one of these vacancies, and the entire offseason is going to a perfect fit. Every single coach that gets hired in the NFL is going to a bad organization, and their whole plan is to go ahead and flip it around. Kellen likely thinks this is his one shot, probably his last shot to make it to the pinnacle of coaching in the NFL. And a guaranteed 5-year contract that's double, triple, or as I said, quadruple what he makes right now is enough protection to get him to leave Philadelphia. And again, I understand it. I don't love it. I think that happening during the Super Bowl is never a good look, but I do think we need to calm down a little bit here and understand that, again, A, this is something Kellen Moore has been working for his entire life, and B, we have to sit back and hope and pray it's not going to distract Philadelphia's offensive game planning in the slightest. And naturally, Philadelphia's winning games, and so Kellen Moore is going to go try to find greener pastures and a bigger paycheck. The good news for the Eagles is I think it's a very coveted job. You're going to get a lot of internal people and external people who want to be the OC. Obviously, you're not going to lose Vic Fangio. That's also good news there. But my hope is, again, that they can replace him and keep Jalen Hurts trending in the right direction, but also stay focused on the week at hand, and that hopefully Kellen Moore is not too busy worrying about his next job and just worries about this job coming up in 2 weeks. Now, Philadelphia is practicing this week. They're doing a lot of prep this week. They call it a bye, but it's really not a bye. Not a ton of news, though, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe, stay up to date. I'll cover anything and everything that comes out regarding Kellen Kellen Moore and the rest of Philadelphia getting ready for the Super Bowl. We're getting close to 83,000 subs. Can we get to 90 before the start of the Super Bowl? We'll see. Obviously going to give this bad boy away and one of these away tonight during the live stream. Subscribe and get in on that. We'll go live about 7:30 p.m. tonight as usual. You guys know the drill. I'm Thomas Mott hanging out on a Wednesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.